What's up guys, you're welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll show you how to make this crop top with an overlap front. So let's get started. First, you fold your fabric into two places and then you take the length of your blouse. For mine, I'm using 21 inches and then I added 2 inches to it, so I have 23 inches. Next, you take your shoulder measurement. So you divide your shoulder measurement by 2. So I have 8 inches. And then on this line, I'll take my armhole measurement. I'll use 9 inches. I'll mark it here. And then I'll connect the lines together. On this 9 inches mark, I'll take my bust measurement. So it's your bust measurement divided by 4. I have 9 inches. And then to take the waist measurement, I'll use 16 inches. So you mark it here. And then you take your waist measurement divided by 4. I have 8.5. I'll mark it here. And then you just bring the line down to the end. And then you just connect the lines together to the end of the blouse. Next, you take your 1 inch for armhole curve. So you place your tape here and then you mark the 1 inch. And then you make a curved line here like this. And then for the shoulder slant, you take half an inch. And then you mark it here like this. You connect it to this part. So here's my shoulder slant with half an inch. Here's my armhole curve with 1 inch. And then I'll go ahead and cut. So here's the back bodice. So I'll set the back bodice aside. To cut the front bodice, you fold your fabric into 2 places and you fold it wider than the back bodice. And then you place your back bodice on top. You place your back bodice on top of the front bodice. So after placing your back bodice on top, you take out your waist measurement on this part. So on this part, I have 1/4 of the waist measurement plus half inch. So you make sure you have your waist measurement on this part plus half an inch. Then you go ahead and mark out half an inch to join the center fold. So you mark half an inch and then you stop at the waistline, which is 16 inches. So here's the waistline. So I've marked out half an inch from the center fold and then I extended the waistline. On the waistline, I'll take 1 inch. I'll mark 1 inch here and then draw a curved line and connect it to the waistline. On this line, I'll mark out 7 inches. On the bust area, I'll add 1 inch to the front bodice. So I'll add 1 inch and then take it down. And then on this part, I'll mark 2 inches. So the front bodice is going to be 2 inches shorter than the back bodice. But when you sew, they'll all be on the same line. So I added 1 inch to the front bodice and then I stopped 2 inches away from the back bodice. And then I'll just flip the back bodice and then I'll connect the line to this line. So I made the front bodice 2 inches shorter than the back bodice. I'll go ahead and cut. I'll go ahead and cut this part. So here's the front bodies and here's the back bodies. To cut the sleeves, you fold your fabric into 4 places and then you take the length of the sleeve. For mine, I have 10 inches and then I added 2 inches to it, so I have 12 inches. On this part, you take your arm circumference. You divide the measurement by 2. For mine, I have 6 inches. And then I'll mark it here. On this part, I'll take 5 inches. And then I'll draw a curved line from here down to this place. And then bring that line down to this place. And then I'll go ahead and cut. So here's the sleeves. And then I'll just go ahead and notch this part. For the neckline, you mark out 3 inches. And then for the back bodies, you use 1 inch for the depth. And you draw a curved line here. And then you cut. So you take out the back bodies, and then I'll mark out 3 inches for the front bodies, or 4 inches. And then I'll draw a curved line here, and then I'll cut. So here's the front neckline. So next, you go ahead and sew from here down to this place. I've sewed it and I stopped at this point. So before I go further, I'll take off 2 inches from this part. And then I'll draw a slant line to this place. And then I'll cut off 2 inches from here. The next thing is to take one of these tails, you fold it wrong side facing each other, you pin it together, and then we're going to cross it over to this part, and then sew it together like this. You sew it from here down to this place. You stop around this area. Again, I took the left tail, I pinned it together, and then I placed it on the right side. I placed it here, and then I'll go ahead and sew it together and then stop at this point. I'll stop at this point. So this is what I did. I sewed it from here down to this place. The next step is to take the right tail, you join it together and pin it together. So you join the right tail, you pin it together. So after pinning the right tail, you sew it to the left part. You take it over to this part and then you sew it again like we did for the other side. You sew it together and you stop around this area too. The next thing is to take the edges, you go ahead and fold it like this. So you have the stitch part in the middle, and then you make a stitch on this part. You do the same for the other side. So after stitching, this is what you have. You go ahead and trim off the excess. The next thing is to join the shoulders together. So with the right sides facing each other, you go ahead and join the back and the front shoulders together. After joining the shoulders together, you go ahead and pin the notched part of the sleeve to the shoulder line, and then you sew it with the right sides facing each other. You sew from here down to this place. So after joining the sleeves, you go ahead and join the sides of the blouse. So when you're sewing the sides, when you get to the bottom, you just flip the back side on top of the front side and you sew it together. So at the end of the day, when you flip it to the right side, you just go ahead and hem this part down to the other side. To hem the back side of the blouse, you just flip it over and then you sew from here down to this place. So after hemming this part, you go ahead and hem the sleeves. For the neckline, you go ahead and measure the entire neckline. For mine, I have 24 inches. And then I cut a strip of 22 inches and 3 inches for the width. I went ahead to sew it together. And then I'll fold it like this and then pin it to the neckline and stretch it when I'm sewing. Please like and share this video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not. I love you for watching. Thank you.